Hello there guys, it's Toad4 here with another exciting episode of Space Engineers. Um, this episode we are going to begin working on the Seraph. Let's see here. Let's plan this just a little bit. So I think we're going to want to build it over here because we're going to need a lot of room. So let's see. If we mount it right here. No, we're going to orient it in such a way. Oh, we need some more steel plates. We're going to orient it in such a way to where it's not interfering, but we need a projector and a reactor. That was a weird lag spike. Let's go ahead and turn off that awful auto rotate. So we're going to put this reactor right here. This projector right there. And now before we get that configured and built, oh my god, it's really annoying. I don't know why that's happening. We are going to set up our cargo container here. So let's see. So let's start. I think what we want to do is steel plate. Steel plate, priority 1. Let's go 10,000. Let's go construction. No? And let's do component 1500. And let's go ahead and put on a priority 1 for that. So now if we look at our cargo container, wow, okay. Now we have 1500 steel plates rather than 10K. Honestly, shouldn't be the end of the world, but you know what we are going to need? We are going to need a bunch of stuff. So let's make probably 10,000 of these guys. I think. I wish there was a way to just queue up like a certain number, rather than having to do this nonsense. Okay, 10,000 of those. Let's do maybe 3,000 of these guys. Should be good for now. Now there's no way we have enough stuff for all of this. Let's go maybe 5,000 to these guys. Yeah, close enough. I know we're going to need a ton of large steel tubes. I'm trying to click as fast as possible. Okay. This guy is going to make just 20,000 construction or thruster components, maybe. Click faster. Trying to think of what we probably just need a ludicrous amount of. And steel plates, 55,000. That's just not going to be enough. Okay, so assembler 1 is... Wow, we are out of gravel. Well, this guy is just going to sit here making steel plates. And we're out of gravel. What needs... I don't think anything else needs gravel, actually. So let's see. Wow, this guy's hardly full. So it's just gonna see how quickly this... I'm a little bit clumsy with this thing. In some situations we will probably use the other welder. Man, I should probably put a small shield generator on this guy. But let's see how quickly it can weld this up. Pretty speedily, okay. Let me grab some uranium. Okay. And now let me see this guy. So, blueprints, sanctuary. This is going to spin at me for a second. Okay. Alright. Whew. So... Okay, there's the Archangel lander, so we need to... Okay. So let's roll it 90 degrees, see what that did for us. Okay, that got it oriented the correct way. Well, mostly. Now we need to... So, that was the pitch. I think we want to roll it 180 degrees. Nope. Nope. We sure don't. That was yaw. I meant to roll. Okay, so rolling was correct. So now we need to raise it upwards. Okay. Okay. And now we need to have it come this way. So that should be... I mean, I can't see that at all. So that should be... We can lower it a little bit. Okay. Now we build. Yep, now we build. So let's just make sure nothing takes this out from underneath us. Hi, Pi. Alright. So, I think right about now, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to time-lapse mode. As soon as I get this cat off my mouse. Come on, pretty girl. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and switch to fast forward mode. I don't know if I'll make a little outro. Not sure. Undecided. But yeah, if I don't, thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know what you think of this ship so far, and I'll talk to you next time. Anulindal, the music of Inur. There was Eru, the One, who in Arda is called Iluvatar, and he made first the Ainur, the Holy Ones, that were the offspring of his thought, and they were with him before aught else was made, and he spoke to them, propounding to them themes of music, and they sang before him, and he was glad. But for a long while they sang only each alone, or but few together, while the rest hearkened, for each comprehended only a part of the mind of Iluvatar, from which he came, and in the understanding of their brethren they grew but slowly. Yet ever as they listened they came to deeper understanding, and increased in unison and harmony. And it came to pass that Iluvatar called together all the Ainur and declared them a mighty theme, unfolding to them things greater and more wonderful than he had yet revealed, and the glory of the beginning and the splendor of its end amazed the Ainur, so they bowed before Iluvatar and were silent. Then Iluvatar said to them, "Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that ye make in harmony together a great music, and since I have kindled you with the flame imperishable, ye shall show forth your powers in adorning this theme, each with his own thoughts and devices, if you will. But I will sit and hearken, and be glad that through you great beauty has been wakened into song." Then the voices of the Ainur, like unto harps and lutes, and pipes and trumpets, and viols and organs, and like unto countless choirs singing with words, began to fashion the theme of Iluvatar to a great music, and a sound arose of endless interchanging melodies woven in harmony that passed beyond hearing into the depths and into the heights, and the places of the dwelling of Iluvatar were filled to overflowing, and the music and the echo of the music went out into the void, and it was not void. Never since have the Ainur made any music like to this music, though it had been said that a greater still shall be made before Iluvatar by the choirs of the Ainur and the children of Iluvatar after the end of days. Then the themes of Iluvatar shall be played aright, and take being in the moment of their utterance, for all shall then understand fully his intent in their part, and each shall know the comprehension of each, and Iluvatar shall give their thoughts the secret fire, being well pleased. But now Iluvatar sat and hearkened, for now a great while it seemed good to him, for the music there were no flaws, but as the same theme progressed, it came into the heart of Melkor to interweave matters of his own imagining that were not in accord with the theme of Iluvatar, for he sought therein to increase the power and glory of the part assigned to himself. To Melkor, among the Ainur, had been given the greatest gifts of power and knowledge. He had a share in all the gifts. He had a share in all the gifts of his brethren. He had gone often alone into the void places, seeking the imperishable flame, for desire grew hot within him to bring into being things of his own, and it seemed to him that Iluvatar took no thought for the void, and he was impatient of its emptiness. Yet he found not the fire, for it is with Iluvatar, but being alone he had begun to conceive thoughts of his own, unlike those of his brethren. Some of these thoughts he now wove into his music, and straightway discord arose about him, and many that sang nay him grew despondent, and their thought was disturbed, and their music faltered. But some began to attune their music to his rather than to the thought which they had first. Then the discord of Melkor spread over wider, and the melodies which had been heard before foundered in a sea of turbulent sound. But Iluvatar sat and hearkened until it seemed that about his throne there was a raging storm, as dark waters that made war upon another in an endless wrath that would not be assuaged. Then Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that he smiled, and he lifted up his left hand, and a new theme began amid the storm, like and yet unlike to the former theme, and it gathered power and had new beauty. But the discord of Melkor rose in uproar and contended with it, and again there was a war of sound more violent than before, until many of the Ainur were dismayed and sang no longer, and Melkor had the mastery. Then again Iluvatar rose, and the Ainur perceived that his countenance was stern, and he lifted up his right hand, and behold, a third theme grew amid the confusion, and it was unlike the others, for it seemed at first soft and sweet, a mere rippling of gentle sounds and delicate melodies, but it could not be quenched, and it took it to itself power and profundity, and it seemed at last there were two musics progressing at one time before the seat of Iluvatar, and they were utterly at variance. Then one was deep and wide and beautiful, but slow and blended with an immeasurable sorrow from which its beauty chiefly came. The other had now achieved a unity of its own, but it was loud and vain and endlessly repeated, and it had little harmony, but rather a clamorous unison, as many trumpets braying upon a few notes, and it essayed down to drown the other music by violence of its voice, but it seemed that its most triumphant notes were taken by the other and woven into its own solemn pattern. In the midst of the strife, whereas the halls of Iluvatar shook and a tremor ran out into the silence yet unmoved, Iluvatar arose a third time, and his face was terrible to behold. Then he raised up both his hands, and in one chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of the eye of Iluvatar, the music ceased. Then Iluvatar spoke. He said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor, but that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Iluvatar. Those things that ye have sung, I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth may shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined." And then the Ainur were afraid, but they did not yet comprehend the words that were said to them, and Melkor was filled with shame, of which came secret anger. But Iluvatar arose in splendor, and he went forth from their fair regions that he had made for the Ainur, and the Ainur followed him. But when they were come to the void, Iluvatar said to them, "Behold your music," and showed them a vision, giving to them sight where before was only hearing, and they saw a new world made visible before them, and it was globed amidst the void, and it was sustainable therein, but not of it. And as they looked and wondered, this world began to unfold its history, and it seemed to them that it lived and grew. And when the Ainur had gazed for a while, and they were silent, Iluvatar said again, "Behold your music. This is your minstrelsy, And each of you shall find contained herein, amid the design that I set before you, all those things which it may seem that he himself devised or added, and thou, Melkor, wilt discover all of the secret thoughts of thy mind, and wilt perceive that they are part of the whole, and tributary to its glory. And many other things Iluvatar spoke to the Ainur at that time, and because of the memory of his words and the knowledge that each had that each had of the music that he himself made, the Ainur know much of what was and is to come, and few things are unseen by them. Yet some things there are that they cannot see, neither alone nor taking counsel together. For to none but himself has Iluvatar revealed all that he has in store, and in every age there come forth things that are new and have no foretelling, for they do not proceed from the past. And so it was that as the vision of the world was played before them, and the Ainur saw that it contained things which they had not thought, and they saw with amazement the coming of the children of Iluvatar, and the habitation that was prepared for them. They perceived that they themselves, in labor of their music, had been busy with the preparation of this dwelling, and yet they knew not that it had any purpose beyond its own beauty. For the children of Iluvatar were conceived by him alone, and they came with the third theme, and were not the theme which Iluvatar propounded at the beginning, and none of the Ainur had part in their making. Therefore, when they beheld them, the more they did love them, being things other than themselves, strange and free, wherein they saw the mind of Iluvatar reflected anew, and learned yet a little more of his wisdom, which otherwise had been hidden from the Ainur. Now the children of Iluvatar are elves and men, the firstborn and the followers, and amid all of the splendors of the world, its vast halls and spaces, and its wheeling fires, Iluvatar chose a place for their habitation in the deeps of time, in the midst of their innumerable stars. And this habitation might seem a little thing to those who consider only the majesty of the Ainur, but not the terrible sharpness, as who should take the whole field of Arda for the foundation of a pillar, and so raise it until the cone of its summit were more bitter than a needle, or who consider only the immeasurable vastness of the world which still the Ainur are shaping, and not the minute precision to which they shape all things therein. But when Ainur has beheld this habitation into a vision, and had seen the children of Iluvatar arise therein, then many of the most mighty among them bent all their thought and their desire towards that place. And of those Melkor was the chief, and he was in the beginning of the greatest of the Ainur who took part in the music. And he feigned, even to himself at first, that he desired to go thither and order all things for the good of the children of Iluvatar, controlling the turmoils of the heat and the cold that had come to pass through him. But he desired rather to subdue his will, both elves and men, envying the gifts which Iluvatar promised to endow them, and he wished himself to have subjects and servants, and to be called lord, and to be master of others' wills. But the other Ainur looked upon his habitation set within the vast spaces of the world, which the elves called Arda, the earth, and their hearts rejoiced in light, and their eyes beholding many colors were filled with gladness. But because of the roaring of the sea they felt great unquiet, and they observed the winds in the air, and the matters of which Arda was made, of iron and stone and silver and gold and many substances. But all of these water they most greatly praised. And it was said by the Eldar that in the water there lives yet the echoes of the music of the Ainur, more than any substance else that is in this earth, and many of the children of Iluvatar hearken still, unsated in the voices of the sea, and yet know not what they listen. Now, to water had that Anu, whom the elves called Ulmo, turned his thought, and most of all deeply was he instructed by Iluvatar in music. But of the airs and the winds, Manwe most had pondered, who is the noblest of the Ainur. Of the fabric of earth had Ole thought, to whom Iluvatar had given skill and knowledge scarce less than to Melkor. But the delight and pride of Ole and is in the deed of making, and in the thing made, and neither in possession nor of his own mastery. Therefore he gives and hoards not, and is free from care, passing ever on some new work. And Iluvatar spoke to Ulmo, and said, Seest thou now how here in this little realm, in the deeps of time, Melkor hath made war upon thy province? He hath bethoth, oh my God, good God, him of bitter cold immoderate, and yet hath not destroyed the beauty of thy fountains, nor of thy clear pools. Behold the snow and the cunning works of frost. Melkor hath devised heats and fire without restraint, and hath not dried up thy desire, nor utterly quelled the music of the sea. Behold rather the height and glory of the clouds and the ever-changing mists, and listen to the fall of rain upon the earth. And in these clouds thou art drawn near to Manwe, thy fiend, whom you lovest. Then Ulmo answered, Truly, water is become now fairer than my heart imagined. Neither had my secret thought conceived the snowflake, nor in my music was contained the falling of the rain. I will seek Manwe, and he and I may make melodies forever thy delight. And Manwe and Ulmo have been from the beginning been allied, and in all things they have served most faithfully the purpose of Iluvatar.